Hello, my name is Dosajna, certified astrologer, and this is the astrology for the full moon on Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. This will occur at Pacific time at 7:57 a.m. and Eastern time at 10:57 a.m. This chart is set to Greenwich, England at Greenwich Mean Time at 2:57 p.m. The house system is the whole house system. Because we are dealing with an event that happens to everyone around the world simultaneously, the house system is not as important. What is important is how the planets are interacting with one another in terms of the zodiac. In a nutshell, this full moon is quite interesting. Basically what is going on is the planets are not really interacting with one another. And not only that, the planets in general are kind of grumpy. Mercury is still moving slowly. We have planets that are in signs that don't really appreciate being there. And not to mention we have a Yod to deal with. So basically what's happening is that we have a lot of issues with relating. We're unable to relate, we're lashing out too easily, we're reacting too quickly, and we're not seeing eye to eye, and we're kind of in our own base camp and kind of relying on self-preservation in that way. And the planets are reflecting that frustration, that inability to be mobile, to move, to go forward, and maybe feeling kind of one step forward, two steps back. So we're going to break it down, get more into details, and kind of talk about how we reached those conclusions. To start, I want to look at the planets and see how they're doing in general in terms of dignity and debility. And right off the bat, with the Sun in Libra, we have an issue because the Sun is in fall in Libra. Remember, the Sun is self-expressive, it's individualized, it's solo. Libra is all about each other, doing things together. So already we're having issues with what I want versus what you want, me versus you, us versus them. Moving on, Moon in Aries, not the best placement for the Moon, but not really a dignity or debility. Same with Mercury in Libra and Venus in Sag. However, Mars in Libra is in detriment. So we have two planets in Libra that don't really like to be in Libra. We have the two planets of action and what I want to do and who I am, and Libra saying, no, that's fine and dandy, but you live in a society where you have to coexist. You have to meet people halfway. And what is hindering that ability to meet people halfway is Mercury, because we have to remember Mercury is still stationed right now. And that means that Mercury is still moving slowly, it's still hard to communicate, there's still frustrations, things are still moving very slowly in that regard. Moving on, Jupiter in Aquarius, neither here nor there. However, Saturn in Aquarius is significant because Saturn is the traditional ruler of Aquarius. Now, even though Saturn is the traditional ruler of Aquarius and enjoys being in Aquarius, he's not really helping anyone anytime soon. Again, the planets are kind of in their own little world, doing their own little thing, and Saturn, likewise, is not really helping anyone. He's just kind of staying in his own little zone, just like how all the other planets are with their respective little parts of the zodiac that they're currently occupying. Great, so the next thing we want to look at is the element and modalities and see if we have any imbalances there. So let's look at the modalities first and count up how many we have here. Cardinal, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fixed, we have 3. And mutable, we have 2. So a lot of cardinal energy, a lot of lashing out, going with our gut reaction, not thinking before we speak, and kind of putting our foot in the mouth. Remember, Mercury is not really functioning well right now, so and to that point, when I look at the elements, we see a lot of air. I see only 2 fire. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 air, 2 earth, and 1 water. So a lot of air. I would say get off of social media ASAP. Try to shut off communication. Do more meditating. Try to fill in that water gap that we are having. Turn inward. Don't lash outwards, because you're jumping to conclusions. You're kind of just, and frankly, no one really wants to meet people halfway. People just want to say what they think and be right. So when everyone thinks that way, it makes it impossible to meet anyone halfway. So it's better to just walk away, surrender, do the water thing, and just meditate in a corner and breathe. Great, so now that we looked at that and those imbalances, let's take a look at the aspects and the aspectarian chart down here. We're only going to look at the Sun through Pluto. Now when it comes to charts like these, we only want to look at applying aspects. These are aspects that are still approaching, so their energy is still building. When we look at charts like this, or electional, mundane, horary charts, only applying aspects are relevant. Natal charts, you look at both applying and separating, but here, I'm only going to look at applying aspects. So I have my highlighter, and I'm only going to highlight when I see an A. And as you can see, there isn't really much here. So that's really all I have. And to be honest though, most of this is not usable. 10 is just too wide of an orb to be relevant. Same with 6 with the square, and 7. So really the only aspect, unfortunately, is Mars in Libra squaring Pluto in Capricorn. And we're going to get to what that means. And with because it's an orb of 1 degree, it's a very tight configuration, and unfortunately it is the only aspect that is really relevant, except for the Yod that I will get into pretty soon. And this is what I mean, because we have no attachments, we have no connections to any other planets. The planets aren't understanding, at least if there was a square or an opposition, the planet knows that it has an enemy or that there's something lurking in the shadow. But because nothing is connected, nothing's connected. No one knows what's up. Everything's just kind of topsy-turvy. So let's look more into this, more details here. Even though we have all these configurations, all these aspects, we've now distilled that really the only important aspect that's in play at this full moon deals with here Pluto in Capricorn at 24 Capricorn and Mars at 23 Libra, making that tight square conjunction. What I would say to this, all this means is that if things are breaking down, let them break down. If things are becoming unsalvageable, don't try to salvage it. Pluto is, then that's kind of the higher octave here. Pluto's showing you, hey, walk away. It's not worth it. If it's breaking down, it's meant to break down. And this is kind of like the precursor theme to the rest of 2021, to be honest, because we have a lot of Venus issues in late December. We have a lot of eclipse issues in November. So this is kind of the beginning of this whole story of conflict and inability to resolve conflict and being one-sided. So I would say just surrender to things you cannot control. Don't try to salvage what's unsalvageable, and you'll be better off. The other thing here is this Yod I'm talking about. You can see it right here. It is with Venus and Sag at 14 Sag, Mercury at 10 Libra, and Uranus at 12 Taurus. And here's the Yod right here. I think this kind of just like echoes the point that nothing and no one is talking to one another. The thing with Yods is that they're all in different elements. You can see Uranus is in Earth, Venus is in Fire, and Mercury's in air. So by its very nature, no one, even though there is some harmony between the fire and the air of the Libra and the Sag, still no one kind of understands one another. And that's the thing, you can see I'm circling all the planets here that are all in their own little respective little corners, and they're not really connecting except for the Mars and the Pluto, which is saying conflict. So this is for the most part the full moon chart. A lot of lashing out, a lot of saying things you don't mean, a lot of regret, a lot of miscommunication, a lot of jumping to conclusions. Get off of social media, go meditate, try not to react, try to slow things down, calm your nerves, go away from stimulants right now. Try not to drink too much coffee. There's too much air, too much buzziness already. Ground yourself, go on a hike, go on a long hike, breathing techniques, that kind of stuff. But that is pretty much it for the most part. I hope this is helpful. The next astrological event that I will cover is the Sun ingresses into Scorpio. That will occur on December 23rd. And that will be the next video. And the full moon will occur on the 4th of November. and that will be the next moon cycle video after this moon cycle video. But that is the end of this video in any case. I wish you the best of luck on your astrological journey. Until next time, namaste.